Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Legally Blonde.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Legally Blonde came out in 2001 with a runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. It's streaming on Tubi. We never used Tubi before, but we found out that it was free there, and we downloaded it, and it worked.
Yeah! It does seem like a very 2000s movie, though. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess because, right now there's a whole aesthetic called Y2K going around where it's all a bunch of 2000s-esque things, and this movie kind of fits in with that whole category.
Like what? What else is in the Y2-esque situation?
Like clothing style, obviously. Different pants or the really bright colored tops and hairstyles too, like zigzag splits and all that type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not in the hip knowing of it, so yeah.
So that whole movie kind of felt like how the 80s is romanticized now. It's like the 2000s are kind of romanticized now, even though it's only been not that long ago. Yeah.
It was written by Karen McCullough and Kirsten Smith, based on the novel by Amanda Brown. It was directed by Robert Lukatich. Main stars are Reese Witherspoon, Luke Wilson, and Selma Blair. Fun facts, Legally Blonde has the same writing team as 10 Things I Hate About You. There was a sequel in 2003 and a Broadway musical.
I didn't know it was a musical.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Sophia did. She said that the music, there was a scene in the movie, I'll mention it later, that it's really funny in the musical. That's what she said, because you know how she always listens to musical stuff?
Yeah.
Actually, by the time of this podcast airs, we'll actually have gone to the Mean Girls musical. We were going to announce it pretty soon. We're going to have a bonus episode about the Mean Girls musical. We'll get Sophia back on the mic as well.
Ha ha ha. She'll be dragged back into the recording room.
Yeah, just kind of like a follow-up to the movie. We're going to watch the musical. All right, so what do you think, Nat?
Well, I didn't really like it that much. It almost felt like a TV show crammed into a movie. Like
parts should have been separated into different episodes?
Especially since they kept going in the same settings, the same places. They were always in the salon, and it felt like a set in a TV show that they would continue going back to.
Okay.
Which I thought was kind of weird for a movie, and I didn't really like that.
Sure.
I also felt a lot like a Disney movie, like a Descendants type of movie. And I don't really like that very much.
Right. You're too big for Disney movies, I guess, right?
No, Disney movies are still cool, but it's trying to be a grown-up adult movie, and it's just kind of more like a Disney movie.
Okay. So what do you give it?
I give it a 3 stars.
3 stars. That you really didn't like it, huh?
No, I didn't really like it.
Man, yeah, you're getting more critical now that you got a bunch of PG-13 movies under your belt. Now you're kind of saying, what's good, what's not.
I also didn't like the whole fact that she only... First of all, no one was supporting her into going to this very amazing career path. And then the fact that she only went into this career path, even though she had the mental capability from the very start,
right,
was because of a guy. And I don't really like that in a character.
Sure. So, well as we got into the story, there's some personal growth on her point, but there's definitely some movie tropes and things like that happen throughout the movie.
Why don't we get into the recap?
All right. The movie begins with a letter being delivered to Elle, the Delta Nu sorority president. It's a good luck card. Elle thinks her boyfriend Warner is going to propose to her that night. Unfortunately, Warner breaks up with her instead of proposing. He's leaving for Harvard Law School, and his aspirations are to be a senator someday. He and his family believe that Elle is not aristocratic enough to be a senator's wife.
No, I feel like not many people notice this, but she's crying and making a scene, right? And then he looks at the rest of the people and he's like, bad salad. And, like, as they're walking out, she obviously didn't have a bad salad, you know? So you hear, like, a lady whisper, and she's like, I'm not getting the salad here ever again.
That's funny. Like they fell for it?
Yeah.
That's funny. After the restaurant, he drops her off at home, and he doesn't even look back. Kind of messed up, huh?
Yeah, not to even check if she got in or anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, and obviously she was upset, but the guy kind of was a jerk. We realized it later. He didn't act like a jerk outright, but this is one of those moments where you go, oh, this is not a good guy.
It's just like in Wedding Singer. It's like the little things that make up a person.
It's true. Elle's friends Serena and Margot try to cheer her up. Elle then comes up with a plan to go to Harvard Law School. That way she can be good enough for Warner.
See, I don't like that. That's not right. And she was so smart. Later on, you see that she really enjoys, like, finding ways to help people. Like, the only reason that she's, like, doing this is because of the guy, and I don't think that's right, because she's so smart, and, like, she was always gonna be, like, this ditzy person unless that had happened.
It's funny because her major is designing, clothes designer, and she has a 4.0. And then she goes to a school, CULA or something like that. It was a fictional school, but I imagine it was kind of like UCLA, like it's supposed to be. And she's getting great grades. Like, she's very smart. She's the president of her sorority. She's, you know, very social, very likable person.
I don't understand why everyone sees her as a stupid girl until, like, she gets, like, what people would say is an honorable profession, even though she was already doing so well.
That's true. Elle goes to her counselor and asks what she needs to do to get into Harvard Law. Because of her 4.0 GPA, all she needs to do is write a great essay and get a 175 on the LSAT. I looked it up, 175, and then the highest score, the perfect score, I guess, is a 180. So she has to get pretty much a perfect score to get into Harvard. Cue the studying montage. Her friends help her study, and she misses out on parties and socializing. We also see Elle's admission video essay. On the video, she is dressed in bikinis, bragging about having a great memory, and recapping stories from her soap operas. The day of the test comes, and Elle looks nervous. I think she thinks herself as less as well.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, people see her that way because she sees herself that way. Like, that video is pretty ridiculous, right? It wasn't an essay. She's just hanging out in a bikini in the video.
For some reason, I don't think that way, because in the beginning of the video, when they were, like, trying on dresses before she went to the dinner where she thought she was going to get engaged.
Yeah.
The woman tried to trick her, and then she's like, don't think that you can trick me. I'm smarter than that.
But it had to do with fashion.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
and that's her major, so of course she knows about that. It made me think that she was like, I know I'm smart, you know? But, like, I guess it is about fashion, so she would obviously be confident in something that is her major already.
Elle opens her LSAT results, and she gets a 179. Then we see the Harvard Law admissions panel watch Elle's video essay and talk about her as a possible student. They go back and forth and eventually accept her to Harvard Law.
Of course, they were like, wow, everything's so great about her. We should do it. But they were, like, only suspicious because of the video.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be a supporting point in your admission.
Yeah, I think the video was kind of a negative for her.
Yeah.
Right? The next scene, we see Elle and her dog, Bruiser, drive to Harvard with a moving truck with all her things. The students are very judgmental.
Now, this is extra, like, Disney movie vibes, because this feels just like Sharpay from High School Musical when she's, like, moving in, because she also has, like, a whole college thingy.
Oh, okay.
And she's moving in with all her stuff, and everyone's like, what is wrong with her? And this is, like, it felt so much like that, and I was like, it's more Disney. I don't know who got it from who, or, like, they just coincidence.
I think this movie came out first. I think the High School Musical movies were set later. I'm not really sure, though.
Yeah, but I just thought that was, like, that sealed the deal on this whole Disney feeling movie. Because I, like, it immediately compared to a Disney movie I already knew, you know?
Yeah. She meets some of her classmates, and they're rude to her as well. And they kind of look down on her for being from California and looking a little bit like a Barbie kind of thing. That's where they were kind of...
Which is weird, because I feel like more people would like her, because, like,
I
feel like the whole pretty privilege thing is a whole situation. So pretty privilege is like people are nicer, or they get more opportunities because they're pretty. Don't you think that people would be nicer to her as well because she's very pretty?
Yeah. I think it's more about that first impression that they think she's just dumb. Pretty privilege is obviously real, but in this particular case, it seems like the people there were more like, they were above that kind of attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
They were kind of stuck up. On the way to her first class, she runs into Warner. and he asks her what she's doing there. She tells him that she's studying to become a lawyer.
What a coincidence that they meet up in probably such a big campus.
It is. Well, they're going to the same class, so.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They're
Both
kind of
law students.
They're both law students. They're in the same class. In her first class, Professor Stromwell calls her out for being ill-prepared. She asks the class if Elle should leave, and a student named Vivian says, yes, she should go. It's kind of messed up. I would not see that happening at a school, right?
Especially on, like, you probably know they're a new student. They don't have, like, syllabus and stuff. They don't know what to bring. You literally can't prepare if you just show up.
Well, everybody else was.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they've been at the school for longer, mostly.
Yeah, they're all first years.
Really?
So they're in maybe they went to Harvard before. That could be it. But most people who go to, let's say, law school, they went to a different university. And this is the first class of their first year. Like Warner was his first class. He was prepared for it. He's the same thing from her, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, she just missed something.
For some reason, I thought that she was, like, a new student and she just got, like, plopped in.
No, I think everybody started at the same time. Elle leaves angry and runs into Emmett.
Oh, I know exactly why. Because, spoiler alert, we later find out that Vivian is engaged to Warner. And, like, how would they have been engaged if they were, like, not at school? That's why I thought that they were already at school.
Well, they were dating before.
Uh-huh.
So before Elle, she and Warner were boyfriend-girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Then he went to college, met Elle, was with her. And then that summer, because they explain it in the next scene, they found each other, and then they got back together. But they got engaged pretty quickly. It was only a summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Elle leaves angry and runs into Emmett, a first-year lawyer that works with Professor Callahan. They talk, and he gives her advice about her professors. Warner shows up and asks if she's okay, and Vivian comes right behind him. And just like you said earlier, Vivian is Warner's fiancée. Elle goes to her happy place, the nail salon. There she vents to Paulette. Set 1, right. Set 1, part 2, 712. There she vents to Paulette, and they are fast friends. Paulette, who is in love with the UPS guy, tells Elle to not quit and go get your man. That lady Paulette is played by Jennifer Coolidge, who's super, super, super popular right now. She just won like a Golden Globe for a TV show she was on, The White Lotus. Me and Mom watched that show.
Really?
Yeah, like she is huge right now. She's like the most popular actress right now.
That's so weird. I feel like as people get older that they become less popular as actors.
She's like an icon right now. She's super popular.
That's so cool. Do you think this
was
was her start, or was she in something before this?
No, that actress has been around for like a million years. I don't know if this was her first movie, but I don't know. Actually, to be honest, I couldn't. I'd have to look it up to know. In Professor Callahan's class, the top 4 students will intern for his law firm. In class, he calls on Elle to answer a question, and when she gets it wrong, the students laugh at her. Vivian then raises her hand and gets the correct answer. Once again, those kids are just mean to her. They never talk to her.
I know, and the professors like don't do anything about it too.
They're part of it, right? They're part of the whole bullying. Like, Strommel's like, should I kick her out? And someone, she put it up to the class. Like, that shouldn't be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think it's weird that like adults are getting bullied by like other adults? Like, it's like they didn't grow up at all since middle school or something.
That's true. Yeah, they're still acting the same way. And these are, it's postgraduate school. So you're looking at 22-year-olds, 21, 22-year-olds.
Yeah, they know better,
Yeah, they're not teenagers.
And they're like a bunch of smart kids because they're in law school.
Yeah. And Harvard law, right? So. Later, Elle tries to join Warner's study group, and Vivian rejects her.
She even brings muffins.
She brings muffins, and now no one gets to have them. Elle overhears that Vivian is throwing a party, and Vivian invites her and tells her that it's a costume party. At the party, Elle, dressed as a Playboy bunny.
No! Not again!
Is the only one in costume. Everyone stares and laughs. So Vivian lied to her, tricked her to try to get her to look stupid and dress up when no one else was dressed up. I don't think she thought she was going to dress like a Playboy bunny, but yeah, it worked. She got her. What does that remind you of? Playboy bunny at a costume party?
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls, yeah.
And then there was there another one?
No, I think that's it. Anyways, Elle doesn't care. She owns it. She tries to have a good time. She goes to Warner and tells him she is going to try to be one of Callahan's interns. Warner tells her that she's not smart enough to make it. Then she realizes that no matter what she does, she will never be good in his eyes.
And this doesn't make sense either, because he's like belittling her And even she's like, we got into the same school. We took the same test. Like, we were like around the same intelligence.
Right.
And I was like, come on now, bro.
The other thing I noticed is when they were standing, I think he was sitting and she was standing, he put his arm on her waist. Kind of like a caressing, like, you know, how like if you're talking to a girl or like a girlfriend, you touch their waist kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, isn't that dude engaged? You didn't jump on that. That's cheating.
No,
Natalie,
I didn't see.
Natalie, you missed it.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I finally got a cheating moment before you did, Nat, because you always think everything is cheating all the time.
What was the name that they had? Like the nickname Pooh Bear?
Pooh Bear, yeah.
Yeah. He called Vivian Pooh Bear. And then he called her originally Pooh Bear at the beginning.
Well, maybe he called Vivian Pooh Bear before. Like, that was her there.
And then again later, like, when he's like, oh, you are pretty, like, smart and all that, he called her Pooh Bear even though they weren't together.
Spoilers, bro. That was way at the end of the movie. What are you doing to me, Natalie?
But he's like, I'm just saying, he's always being weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But at this moment, it's kind of one of those moments that is transformative for her, kind of realizing, like, I'm capable. I'm smart. You're never going to like me for who I am. Like, forget it. Next, we see Elle get serious about her studies. She buys an Apple laptop and reads and studies hard.
And it's still, like, a different computer than everyone else.
Yeah, like, she gets a colorful one, right? Everybody else had, like, a black one or something?
Yeah, I thought it was funny how it was, like, an Apple iBook, like an Apple book instead of, like, a MacBook.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't call it the Mac then. I don't know.
Or maybe that's just how it was in the 2001s.
Maybe. She starts to impress her professors and look good in her classes. She even gets one of the 4 intern positions at Callahan's firm, along with Warner and Vivian. And there was another person. I don't even remember. I think it was Eden.
Wait. She was a part of, like, a group of new students. And they all introduced themselves at the beginning of the movie to each other.
Yes.
If they're new students, but everyone else is also new students, why would that group be the only ones introducing themselves to each other?
Oh, I mean, that's just one pod. There might be like 25 pods. Warner wasn't in that group.
I'm still suspicious if they were already at that.
How could they are in the same classes? How are they going to be taking... It's like when you're in 8th grade English or 9th grade English or 10th grade English. And everybody in your class is your same age.
I'm suspicious.
All right. You keep thinking. She just showed up in the middle of the year. Like, they accept that kind of thing.
Yes.
Right. Why would she show up late? What was the point of her showing up late?
I don't know.
Exactly. Anyway.
I guess my theory has been bunked.
Yes. With so many holes in it. And it was...
Well, this movie has so many holes.
Very similar to one of the last movies we watched, the Titanic, and it sank. Okay, sorry, your case. Talking about cases. You see that segue? See that? The cases. Thank you. It was like on the spot. I thought of that. That's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. The case they will work on is a murder case. Brooke Wyndham, a fitness celebrity, is being accused of killing her much older husband. She was caught with his blood all over her by her stepdaughter Chutney and their pool boy Enrique. Callahan's team interviews Brooke, and she says that she found her husband shot on the floor when she came home. Brooke has an alibi, but she will not disclose it. As Brooke leaves, she recognizes Elle as someone who has taken her exercise class and a fellow Delta Nu sorority sister.
So she was also a part of the sorority, and she graduated from it?
I think she's older.
Ah.
Callahan's law team, including Emmett and all the interns, meet and believe the case is lost without the alibi. Elle takes the initiative and visits Brooke in jail and finds out that Brooke was getting liposuction during the murder. She will not admit it because it will ruin her fitness career.
Which I still don't get what liposuction is.
Liposuction is plastic surgery. They take like a vacuum, they cut it into your stomach, and then they start taking out fat. So that way you can get skinnier really fast.
Which is bad for her image because she's a fitness instructor.
That's exactly right. She's worried about, and that's why she wants to not let anyone know, otherwise her career will be over.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Elle promises to keep her secret. Callahan finds out about the visit and asks Elle for Brooke's alibi. Elle will not let him know what it is. Vivian is impressed and starts to be kind to her. At the trial, Chutney and Enrique both testify to seeing Brooke over their husband's dead body. Enrique also admits that he and Brooke are having an affair.
Also, they always show them, like, touching, like, a book or something and them vowing that they will tell the truth. What's even the point for that? Everyone's gonna lie. It's court. Like, it's never gonna do anything.
Well, if you lie in court, it's perjury. It's against the law. You can go to jail for that.
That's true. But, like, how will you know they're lying?
Well, if you get caught, which Enrique does in a second. Hold on. Later during a recess, Enrique insults Elle's shoes, calling them last year's model or something. Elle then realizes that Enrique is gay and tries to use that to discredit his testimony. Emmett follows Elle's intuition and traps Enrique into admitting he has a boyfriend. All right, what do you got to say about that?
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That, like, she just assumed stuff. Just because he knew a brand of shoes.
So she automatically thought that he was gay.
Which is so funny because now sneakerheads or whatever, or like people that just like love shoes, put them on their shelves and all of that. Especially guys.
Yeah.
And so like I don't think that stereotype works.
That night Callahan hits on Elle and she walks out and tells Emmett she quits. She packs up and gets ready to drive back to California. Before she leaves, she goes to the salon to talk to Paulette about what Callahan did. Then Professor Stromwell, who's in the salon, tells her to stand up and be strong. Elle changes her mind and stays.
Which is good, because that would be so sad if she came in because of a man and then left because of a man.
Yeah. Different man, both jerks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Emmett tells Brooke what happens and she is furious. In court, Brooke fires Callahan and hires Elle. Elle's moment is here. She cross-examines Chutney and catches a flaw in her testimony. Eventually, Elle gets Chutney to admit it was her that killed her dad. Brooke's case is dismissed. Warner's impressed and he goes to Elle wanting her back and she rejects him. So now she was good enough.
Yeah. Even though she was right the whole time.
Yeah, I guess it's a jerk.
I still think it's like wrong how it's like this whole movie, except for what's his name, Emmett, like all the guys in this movie are wronging her.
Yeah, sure.
It's so sad.
We move forward in 2 years in time and it's graduation. Elle is making the commencement speech and talks about having passion and faith in oneself. We find out Elle and Emmett have been dating for the last 2 years and Emmett plans to propose that night.
Finally, she'll actually get a proposal.
I know. The graduation caps are thrown. The end. I always wonder, like, okay, she's a lawyer now. Do you think she wants to be a lawyer? You know what I mean? Like, I think she enjoyed it. I don't know.
I think she always liked helping people because, like, there was a little side plot with Paulette where she helps her get her dog back that was, like, stolen from her, like, ex-boyfriend or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, she was, like, really happy to help her out. And I think, and she was also really happy. She was really happy to help in the law case that she did win during this movie. So I think she just overall likes helping people.
Yeah. Are you going to want to watch the second movie?
Probably not.
Yeah. All right. Could this movie still be made today?
Probably. I didn't even really like some of the good characters or like the characters that were bad and then became good, like Vivian. She obviously had a lot of, you know, character development and ended up becoming one of Elle's good friends. But she did things to Elle and she never apologized for them in the movie. Like, she never apologized to Elle directly for the costume party thing, which was pretty messed up. And she never apologized to Elle for because she overheard when Callahan was trying to make a move at Elle, and she was like, you're only in this position because you're sleeping with him, and like, why don't you just sleep your way to the top, and like, all of that, being so mean to her. It shows a scene where she's like, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. But she never apologizes to what she said to Elle or like on screen.
Yeah, I don't remember if she ever did or not. Yeah.
Which is like, she's supposed to be this good character, yet when she does bad things, no one holds her accountable for that. And it's like, I don't really like that.
Okay.
Again, the generalization of the pool guy.
Enrique.
Yeah. They like, that whole situation was kind of sad too.
Sure.
Because like, he was just going about his day or like whatever. And like, people had to make like generalizations or like stereotype him just to like use it against him.
No, he was bad.
He was a bad person.
Yeah, he lied. He knew that Chutney killed the dad or the husband.
And he lied about having an affair with them.
And he lied about having an affair to blame her. So I don't think he's a good guy, but there's no reason why. So the whole thing was him. It was all for a laugh, right? They're using the generalization that gay men know about fashionable women's shoes. I don't know.
But they never should have assumed about him or like used it in court.
Right. Like if she would have thought it, that'd be one thing. But then, trying to use it in court to discredit him that he's gay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's obviously probably wouldn't be made now.
And the whole situation about law school and how she only got in because she was doing it for a guy and like it was always about the guys. And another thing is that her parents never really cared to see her like chase after these like so-called dreams or whatever, because she always like, I love law school, like she was just going about it, and they never like supported her, and they were like, you're pretty, you shouldn't do that. Like what
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that character, I mean, it doesn't sell anymore. I don't think so. That wouldn't be something you watch in a movie now, right?
Maybe like if the parents were like, are you sure about this? Or like, you've never showed interest in this before. But the only reason they were like, no, was because like, oh, you're pretty. No, why would you do that?
Or like, oh, it costs so much money to go there, right? There was something, there's so many other ways they could have done it other than just seeing her as a ditz and not thinking anything about her as well.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
It does.
I figured it would. All right. So the Bechdel test is a test to check about female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. First criteria is, are there 2 named females?
Yeah, there's Elle, there's Paulette, there's Vivian, and I think her sorority friends had names, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Margot is one, and the other one I can't remember right now.
And then there was also the lady they were fighting for in court.
Brooke. And then there's also the Professor Stromwell.
Yeah, and the person that killed the guy.
Chutney. Yeah, the daughter.
So yeah, there was a lot of women in this movie.
Criteria number 2, do they talk to each other?
Yeah, of course she talks to her friends. She's often with Paulette, and like that was a lot of where her advice came from.
Sure.
And then the whole feuding and beefing with Vivian at the beginning, and then their eventual friendship.
Criteria number 3, do they talk about anything other than a man?
I didn't really see any instances of this at all. Not very many, at least. There was one, but I didn't see very many when you would think that there would be, since there were a lot of female characters.
Okay.
But the one I did see was that Vivian, like the whole party situation, when they're like, oh, we're having a party, and it's a costume party. That's all I remember, really.
I thought there was actually quite a bit of female.
I always like, even though that conversations, like if they're elongated and like at the beginning of a conversation they talk about a man, and then but like towards the end they don't, I still lump that as one conversation. So I never like so that phone call, they're like, he's engaged, and then she goes and talks about how no one's being nice to her. So since that was one conversation, in my mind I'm like, oh, that doesn't count.
Okay. So like if they have a 20-second conversation, and if they bring up a man at any point in that conversation, then the whole conversation is null and void, even though it changed subjects?
I thought so.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. All right. Anything else?
This episode wraps up our month-long of romance movies.
Finally. So all of February, we did love movies.
If you hadn't noticed.
We started with 10 Things I Hate About You, Titanic, last week's Wedding Singer, and then this week we did Legally Blonde. So we're done. Next week we get to do action. Back to my action love movies. Well, not love movies, but action movies. That means you're super happy. I understand that. And also, this is our 21st episode.
That means our podcast can drink alcohol.
So, drink alcohol with our podcast? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, our podcast is all grown up and now can have alcohol.
Okay, so at our next episode, instead of water, we will be doing whiskey? Is that
shots?
Whiskey shots?
No, Fireball.
Oh my gosh, why does she even know that? You're 9 years old. What is wrong with you?
I'm not.
Okay.
This is a PG-13 podcast. No 9-year-olds allowed.
No 9-year-olds allowed. Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Monday. If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestions.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, we're watching Mission Impossible. So I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.